And a very warm welcome to you on today's interview with me, Deep Rajah. In the studio with me on Lyca YouTube today, I have one of the most amazing gentlemen here because his job is not only to work in a bank, but to make sure that bank actually makes money for itself so that it can distribute profits even further. From the State Bank of India and also known as SBI, I have a Mr. Sunil Kumar Sahoo. A very warm welcome to you, Sunil ji.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Devji.
No problem. Lovely to be here. And I want to start with asking you an important message that when it looks at SBI or the State Bank of India, however we look at it, what is the product or services that you want to pass on? What do you do? What are the products?
Yeah, so basically from here in State Bank of India, so we have two branches. One is State Bank of India London, which is basically a wholesale branch, and SBI UK, which was as per the regulatory requirement, it was formatted in 2018, and it caters to only specific to the retail customers. So it has 11 branches. All 6 to 7 branches are there in London, and few of the branches we have outside London, like Manchester, Leicester. So depending upon the where the Indian diaspora are there mainly. So regarding product wise, basically we look into all those retail products, basically like opening of saving account, business account, your instant saving account, then your fixed deposit, then basically remittance facilities and locker facilities or your buy to let loans. So all these requirements, which is basically retail customers they need into day to day their life or business. So basically, all these products are being offered by State Bank of India.
I want to go back to a couple of important points here because in Britain, with the Asian community, we like to sometimes keep a few things, maybe gold, maybe jewelry, whatever it is.
Yes,
Now,
yes,
I want to talk about this because the locker facility is a very important point of this. Tell me more about the locker facility.
Locker facility is basically what, as you know, this Indian whether you are Indian community or any other community, you have certain expensive things in your home like jewelry or some specific artifacts which are very costly for you. So what happens when you go for your day-to-day job? So you may not be present in your home. So just to safeguard your costlier things, which is basically in the form of jewelry or cash or anything. So there is a product facility which is being offered by State Bank of India UK through its various branches. This is called as locker facility. It is nothing, it's just like a safe deposit box. So a safe deposit box, just like we go to a hotels, we find in various rooms a safe deposit box. So this safe deposit box, it is protected by a key combination. So in this safe deposit box, any branch they provide multiple of locker number of boxes like maybe hundreds, 200, 500. So basically they are also comes in various sizes, small size, medium size, large size. So depending upon your requirement, the customer's requirement, they can take a box as per their requirement. They can put the valuable things in that locker box, and so that the things can be safe from the security point of view, and that they can do their day to job, and whenever they need any type of jewelry for any specific festival or anything specific requirement, they can come to the branch, they can access their locker, and they can open the locker, take out their expensive things, and then again can close out the locker. And this locker can be opened with a specific combination. The one key there will be with the customer, and one separate combination will be with the branch. So only with both the combination, this locker can be operated.
But the thing here is, and that's a very interesting point, does the customer have to make an appointment to visit the locker, or can they come anytime? Because sometimes,
No.
last minute, mujhe jana
Yes.
hai, I have to see something.
Yes, of course, that appointment has to be taken
Yes.
as for the specific timeline, because as you know, basically at the single point of time, this locker room cannot be operated by multiple of customers for the safety point of view. So once a customer is operating a locker, if another customer comes, then he cannot or he should not access the same locker room at the same time.
Gotcha.
So that is why a specific time frame is of course required.
Right.
But of course, if a customer comes on a standalone basis without taking any appointment, depending upon if it is
Possible.
if it is possible, then of course it can be given.
That's an amazing point and a very interesting point. But I want to move on a little bit now because the times are changing, right? And now the days of going to the bank and waiting in the queue and paper stamp, they're kind of going. The Yono app, which is to do with the SBI seems to be catching on very well. Tell me a little bit about how useful, if at all, it is a tool, but
Yeah.
more importantly, can I use that, or can my people use it in another country as well?
So basically, this Yono app, it was launched in India first in our domestic level in 2017. So based on its popularity, basically what has happened, this Yono app, it was not launched as a single app. It was basically stands for you only need one. Basically, the full form of Yono app. So basically, it was created as a super app where it will be one-stop solution for all the customers. So what the customer may want some financial facility, the customer may want to open a insurance product. They wanted to invest in the bond mutual fund market, or they may apply for any credit card, or they may open your airline ticket, or maybe through the railway ticket, or they may go for a shopping to like through Amazon or Flipkart, or they can go for their grocery shopping. Everything is available in that Yono app. Simply through
Okay.
that Yono app, because ethically, basically, what happens, their bank has partnered with multiple third-party vendors, so that all those facilities can be in the, under one roof, and the customers don't go to visit multiple apps. So in the single app, the customers, and they are also offering various attractive discounts in that Yono app. But now, in with this popularity in our various foreign offices, because basically in SBI we have around in 30 countries we have locations, and around 210 foreign offices we have. So one of the prominent foreign location is here in, of course, in London, being a financial hub. So in 2019, this Yono app was launched here in UK.
2019.
Yeah,
Okay,
here in
right.
UK. Yeah. But after that, what happened? This Yono app, basically all those standard features now we are providing, like your sending remittance at a competitive rate, or you want to open a fixed deposit account, or you want to open a newly account also without visiting the branch with your basic KYC requirement. It can be opened through the Yono app. Apart from that, standard features like your account statement facility or your contact details updation, all these things can be done through the Yono app. Of
Right.
course,
Okay.
basically as the time is progressing, bank is also exploring other avenues, like what other facilities can be given through the Yono app
Gotcha.
here in UK also. Of
Hmm.
course, it may take some time,
But it's getting there.
yeah, of
Okay, I
course.
mean, just to clarify, KYC, that you use that term because it's bank speak, we have to be honest, it stands for know your client. Okay,
Yes,
so
know
that
your
everyone out there
customer.
knows your
Yes,
customer, know your
yes,
client. Okay,
yes,
right, moving on. Now, okay, you've spoken a little bit about SBI, but I want to talk about you because your job is an amazing and a very, very interesting job as well. Now, do you want to tell us all what exactly is your title and what do you do?
yeah. So basically, here I am looking after the Treasury Department of State Bank of India UK. So basically, our day-to-day operation, it involves about managing the liquidity of the bank. So that is the basic primary function for every treasury, how to manage the liquidity of the bank, and within a particular risk parameter you have to operate so as to maximize the profit for the bank. So normally, how the banks are operating, banks are basically taking the deposit from the customers, and they are giving the loans and advances to another set of customers who require the amount. So basically, here what happens, any day, any bank, they might be shortfall of liquidity, or they might be surplus with liquidity. So if they are surplus with liquidity, they have to explore various avenue where they can invest the money. So they can be like lending to other international banks, or it can be depositing with your central bank, like in Bank of England in this case, or it can be investing in various corporate bonds and various banks bonds, so that to maximize your profit for the bank. And if you are shortfall of money, similarly, you have to borrow it from the market, again from the counterparty banks, so with a minimum cost, so that again at the same time your aim should be maximize the profit.
So, what is your job in that?
Yeah, so our job is basically, apart from managing the liquidity of the bank, the second most another important thing for us is the managing the remittance facility for our Indian diaspora. As you know, basically we have around 2 million of Indians living in UK,
Hmm.
which is roughly around 3% of the UK population. And being one of the financial hub here, it gives us ample opportunity to showcase our remittance facilities or remittance products to the customers. So, like we are offering your remittance facilities in two ways, like the old brick and mortar concept. Through our 11 of the branches, the customer can come and visit the branch. and they can fill a form and they can do the remittance. Apart from the same time, we are also providing through our online banking and through the Yono app, so that the techno-savvy customers, without the need to visit the branch, they can send the money through a competitive rate. And we also provide a very competitive rate. So all those rates and all the guidelines are published in our website.
Right.
People can go and have a
And
look,
have a look. Yeah.
and they can. And Yono app is also very easy to handle, just like a basic app. You can just install it in your Android or any iPhone, so that you can use it very
So just to get this straight, one of your jobs or one of your main jobs is it's an amazing idea. You have to literally look at some of the money that comes in from the account from the clients, and then look at seeing who else needs it in terms of borrowing, and try and make the facility or the bank make the money back and make some profit. Is that correct? That's a hard job to make sure that all the world's monies and banks. How do you find that? Is it a pressurized job? Do you find that a very heavy one?
No, because it maybe from
Mm.
the outside it may seem something new, but
Mm.
as we are into day-to-day job, it is very interesting because of course what happens every day you learn something new,
Mm.
and every day based on your requirement you also happens to meet or interact with various counterparty banks, and when you meet or interact with various counterparty global banks or be it local banks, you also learn a new things and you meet new persons.
Mm.
So basically it's a very interesting job, and it gives you the pleasure that how you can handle so much of money in day to day your banking operation and banking affair, and at the same time we can have to manage the liquidity in such a way so that to maximize the profit on a day to day basis for the bank.
Now, if you look at SBI, okay, it's not as well known bank as, say, the high street banks, Barclays, HSBC, whatever. But how does SBI compete or work with high street banks? And is that your job as well to really
Yeah,
connect
yes,
the
yes,
bank?
yes, of course, of course. So this is a good question. So basically, what happens, like we are also not that being, we are one on the single bank from India who are in the Fortune 500,
Right.
and if you see in the number of employee, we are the fifth largest in India, providing the number of employment opportunity for the people. So, but yeah, of course, in being in UK, which is a very big financial hub, so it is we have to be in touch with our all the major counterparty global banks. So basically, we also need, because day to day operation you cannot survive on your own, whether you are big or small. You cannot survive. You cannot stick to a solo basis that I want to perform on a solo basis. No, we have to be in touch with various counterparty banks, because let's say, for I will give you example. Let's say here we are operating in London,
Yes.
and we need some accounts in various other currency. Let's say dollar.
Yeah.
So that means you have to be in touch with some of the US based banks where you can open a account. So basically this account is called as Nostro account,
Right.
which you need to open a dollar account in various US banks, so that you can day to day operation in dollar currency can be smoothly happen. So
Right.
you simply, so that is why in various currency and various countries you have to be in touch with all those high street banks and global banks or the local banks, so that your job can be easier. So and also it makes a sense that when you touch, depending upon the various regulatory requirement and various day-to-day operation, when you meet, you know a lot of things. Basically, each country's regulations differs from another country. So when you operate with another bank, another global bank from another geography, then you know what the regulation is there, how you
Got
have
you.
to.
So sorry to stop you there, because obviously it's getting a bit technical, and we
Sure,
remember
sure,
where a lot of my listeners don't necessarily know the technical. But the point you're making, if I'm correct in thinking, is that you are looking at operating almost as one of the high street banks now. Is that right?
yes,
So
yes.
if that is the case, and you looking at, say, not necessarily competing but working with high street banks, when it comes obviously to the Indian diaspora community, there is a lot, as you say here. Are there any special advantages or help that you give the Indian diaspora community here when they want to open an account in the SBI?
Sure, sure, sure. Basically, what happens, as you know, although we are operating through the online mode, as you know, we are also operating through the brick and mortar concept. So many people somehow they feel comfortable when they visit a branch and they have a face-to-face interaction with somebody,
Hmm.
and that too somebody from if they find a counterparty from their local geography, because as you know in India, it is basically a multiple cultural multiple cultural things are present there. Whether somebody come from Punjab, whether somebody come from the Andhra, somebody come from the Tamil Nadu, somebody come from the Bengal. So if they can come to a branch and if they for some reason they find a particular person from their own geographies, they feel more connected because as you know, we get to know somebody from our own geography or from our own state so that you can talk in a local language.
But I'm going to stop you there because that is a great advantage कि अपना language में अपना देश में बोल सकते हो. But in terms of finance, because you're in Treasury,
Yeah.
if I or somebody from an Asian descent decides to put money into an SBI account, as an Indian diaspora community, do you help them in another way?
No, basically, if you ask me that whether we are
Mm.
giving something additional deposit interest or additional remittance facility, no,
Yes, maybe.
it is basically same for whether
Right.
any Indians comes, whether any other multiple, any other regions or from any other local person comes, the facility same facility we are giving. But only thing that from the Indian diaspora when they come to because they sometimes face to face interaction seems very good for them,
Does
so
make
they
a
feel
difference.
more comfortable.
Yeah.
Maybe people so they can come to a branch so they can have a face-to-face interaction over a cup of coffee and
And
yes
have a
the
chat
work is
about this
done.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on a little bit because I want to go back to what you do. Now, looking as a Treasury person and looking at the Treasury here in the UK, you're obviously rubbing shoulders with some ministers and some Treasury people to obviously sort this out. Do you think that, in your opinion, the Indian rupee will ultimately be a currency that will be traded on the market, stock markets, as an open thing, just like the dollar?
Yes. Of course, there are a lot of talks now going on that Indian rupee to be internationalized. So it is happening in now. Indian government is having multiple agreement with many of the countries because with its latest geopolitical tension, as you know, it is happening nowadays. So every country is now wants to promote their currencies in a big way. But yes, it is happening, and the Indian government is doing a very good job by cooperating or making arrangement or agreement with multiple countries so that to make a rupee as an international symbol. Yes, it will take some time because, as you know, there is a lot of because, as you know, rupee it don't have that free convertibility. So that is why it will take some time, even from the regulatory point of view. But I'm sure in the coming days, with many of the countries which they are accepting the Indian rupee for the bilateral trade, and already some more agreements which may happen in the coming days. Of course, it is a government level, so we may see rupee to gain attraction, rupee to get recognized as a more in an international level, and countries from third world or maybe developing countries to come and have a arrangement for trading in rupee.
Now, if that's going to happen, which is obviously very good news because it's about time the Indian rupee was put
Sure,
on the
sure.
mark, will or how, does that benefit, or how does it benefit SBI?
Yeah, because as you know, we are one of the premier bank in India, and we
I'd
having
say
a
around the world, even.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
So having a robust network of, let's say, we have around 22,000 branches in India and around 210 offices in international in 30 countries. It definitely gives us a platform to deal with multiple corporates from those geographies who may be interested in rupee trade. Because as you know, because let's say a lot of countries, let's say from Germany, there are lots of automakers, they have their own office in India, specifically in Pune and Mumbai region. Similarly, from any country, whenever they wanted to do, because once a rupee gets its recognition, so the more people, they will look for a premier bank who are having a pan-India presence or pan-worldwide presence to deal with them in rupee. So there we comes into the picture because they can come because being a having a physical location, having in London, New York, in various offices, so the people they can come and they can meet us and they can have it that trade together in the coming days. Of course, because by only sitting at India, it may not be possible. So that is why when we have a presence in outside world, so we can meet and we can they can
Yeah.
also meet us and then we can go ahead.
So, I mean, and that's an interesting point because what you're, trying to get across is that if you've got a company that's say European with a branch in India, SBI then can, if the rupee gets more
Yes,
and more
yes.
regular, can take over the finance. That's lovely, and I'm happy for it. But what about people say wanting to buy, like? people living here buying a house in India or wanting to set up a small
Sure,
chota
sure,
business. Now,
sure.
they're the ones that feel they get stung because there's no bank or officer that can help them. What London mein baithe काम is happening in India. Can the SBI help the average person who perhaps wants to not set up a business
Sure,
but has
sure,
got
sure.
financial transactions in India feel safe
Sure.
and get it done?
Yeah. So basically, yes, that which is basically we call in our term that is NRI services. We
Yes.
have a NRI division here also. So any customer, like say a customer having a requirement of housing loan, maybe in India. So what will happen? The customer will come with all the documents, and we can facilitate for opening the account or whether to getting a housing loan from one of each location. Because if the customer is from Mumbai, if the customer is from Delhi, we facilitate opening of the account and passing on the leads to the local bank and seeing that the things may be done in a quickest and whatever efficient manner. So there we help the customers. And apart from that, if anything is pending, because let's say if any transactions or anything is pending, and the customer also approaches our NRA division, whether it is remittance, whether it is any other forms of services, or whether it is like attestation of some documents. So there also we help them so that the work can be done efficiently through from your NRA division, and they are in any of the branches as per the customer's requirement. As you know, in every place we have a SBI branch there in India, so it makes sense for us to help the customers wherever possible.
Right. Last but not least, because we're coming to the end of this interview, but I've really enjoyed so far. We've talked about Treasury and what you do and how SBI has helped put the rupee on the world. Put it that way. We've spoken about companies and how they could be grateful if you can help with SBI and the work. And we've also spoken about individuals and the Indian diaspora community. Where I want to just move on to before we wrap up this interview are individuals. Now, let's say you, well, maybe not you because you're in the banking, but
Sure, sure.
myself, right? I have decided to open a bank account, or my colleague wants to open a bank account. Now, normally speaking, we would go to the high streets and say, Bark and say, can one go straight away and say, look, I work and live in this country, but I want to bank with SBI as an everyday process? Can we do that?
Yeah, so here you are talking about opening up an account.
Correct.
Yeah, opening up account, it is very easier. Like you can do it through the Yono app. You need not visit any branch. But in case you are not that techno savvy or you face some difficulty while opening the account, the standard procedure is you can take an appointment and you can come to the branch. But in case the standard appointment is not possible, you can straight try to come to the branch. But again, depending upon the prior commitment to some other customers, so you will be serviced, but it maybe not in a as you reach, it's not like that in a efficient manner. Maybe after some time, once the commitment for the existing customers are
Hanji.
made, then you may be serviced.
But my point is, and I accept that, let's say, everyday transactions, let's say, you're going into a high street bank, usme aapka direct debit bhi jata hai, usme tax bhi jata hai, whatever it is, can you set up and use an account in the SBI like an everyday account?
Yes, yes,
You can. Like a
like you are, yeah,
like a
for the,
checkbook,
yeah, like the current account,
Yeah.
because we are also providing various facilities there. We are opening for the business accounts
Yeah.
and current accounts. These are also being provided, even not only for the retail customers, even some small and medium enterprises is also there, like business accounts.
That's
They
it,
are,
yeah.
yeah, they are also opening the accounts. Although our primary focus is for the retail customers, but basically, true speaking, even the small and medium enterprises, small corporates, they can also free to open the account and do the business through us. And even they also need the financing and other things that is also being given to them.
So this is what I needed to find out,
Yes,
because
yes.
a lot of people have been asking me,
Yes,
okay, look,
yes.
I find that it's more like a token bank there. It's more of a token. I said, no, those days have gone. It is an actual serviced branch.
Yes, 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 yes.
I think last but not least, you know as well as I do, on Lyca Gold, we have a drive time show. We have lots of lovely golden songs. Now, I'm going to play a song for you. What would be your most favorite song that we can play for you on Gold Drive?
Okay. That is,
And don't say,
okay.
"Qarz ka paisa, ye paisa."
You can play anything from 90s, because basically growing up we were watching 90s movie. So maybe from the Kuch Kuch Hota Hai.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Consider that one done.
Yeah.
What can I say? Sunil Kumar Sahoo, head of retail treasury, a very, very big job and a very, very gentleman man. And thank you for coming on to Lyca YouTube. Thank you also for talking openly about SBI products. But I think what I really have enjoyed about this interview, we've got to know you. And that's the point here. We've got to know you. And that's
No,
very, very good.
actually, it is my fortunate that you have invited me on SBI to be again to part of your platform, so that we can connect to your viewers and listeners. So it is actually our fortunate. We are fortunate here to be able to connect it with your audiences and your viewers, so that it also gives us an ample opportunity to showcase our products.
Thank you so much. Lovely to meet you.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, thank you for watching me on the YouTube channel. As you know, my name is Deep Rajah, and if you want to hear some exciting music and great times ahead, tune in to Gold Drive on Lyca Gold from 4 p.m. weekdays. We'll have music, fun, and the all-important question. See you there.